Welcome viewers and pool fans to Pro Billiard TV and the 2026 Predator Pro Billiard Series, bringing you the action live from deep in the Austrian Alps at the idyllic Hotel Alpina Alpendorf. And you join us on day 5 for last 16 action in the Billard Beckmann Men's Open, and two players with quite cool, relaxed styles. But have no fear, we could be in for a fiery encounter. Austria's Albin Ouschan on home soil, taking on Germany's Felix Vogel. This is 10-ball, best of 3 sets, races to 4. It's winner breaks format, no early 10s, shot clock in play. My name is Gethin Davis. I'll be flying solo with you for this match. And I have to say, I've been looking forward to this. We were just all glued to table 1, which just come to a close. A fantastic matchup between Na Kyung Song and Kelly Fisher in the losers qualification in the Belarus Carino Women's Open. And that went all the way to a shootout. Na Kyung Song just pipping Kelly at the end. 5-4 in that shootout. So, in the spirit of day 5, will these two gentlemen deliver? Well, we'll find out. Felix Vogel has won the break, and he will get this first set underway. Breaking from the side. Keep your eye on the 1 ball and the right side pocket. Oh, it was going, but the 3 got in the way, and that's prevented a ball from dropping. Felix will return to his chair, and Albin will step up. There is a shot on to the 1, as you can see from the overhead, to the top right corner, top left as we look at the screen. May not be much value in going for that. However, Albin does have the ability to go on the offense at will. He's had a look at the potting angle. He'll come across the table, possibly in between the 9 and the 2. If he were to go on the offense. Oh, he's played that nicely, and after catching the second long rail, has used the 9 to take the energy out of the cue ball, leaving this 2 into the side pocket, and in that 1 shot has really opened up this opening rack. As I mentioned, both these players very cool and relaxed styles. If there was ever any pressure on these players, I doubt you would know. But Albin, playing on home soil, can bring its own challenges and benefits. We've got 2 Austrians out on our TV tables. Over on table 1 coming up will be Max Lechner and Alexa Pechel. And over on our other table, TV table 3, we have Klenti Kaci from Albania taking on the tough Polish player Daniel Maciol. And we'll be bringing you some updates from the scores in this last 16 group as they start to come in. But let's return our attention to Albin, who after that opening 1 ball is really now left with not too much difficulty to contend with. Just getting shape on this 8. The key consideration here is looking as if he's going to stay underneath it, or rather above it. Looking at the table from here, which he has done. That's bounced a little bit more than he liked. And where the 9 is positioned, not having the bottom left corner pocket available, we'll need to put a bit of a shot in here to get shape on it. Otherwise he may be forced into having to take the combination on. It's called his extension. He's having a very good think about this. He's played it long. He's looked to come underneath the 9, possibly for the left side pocket or top left, but it's not come far enough. He's taking the bank on. Great recovery shot from Albin Ouschan to leave him this straightforward 10. And to get us underway, putting his first point on the board and against the break of Felix. So in this winner breaks format, Albin to the table. And yes, the best possible start for Albin to get his account underway. Multi-European and world champion is Albin Ouschan, and he's had a relatively straightforward route to this last 16, beating Ivica Putnik 2-0 straight sets and Mateusz Snegocki from Poland 2-0. And then he had another Polish player to contend with, Konrad Zizichin. And he finds himself here up against the German Felix Vogel. Felix having to go a slightly longer way. After beating Tobias Bongers, he then lost out to a very tough Alex Kazakis match. But then after that, you have to say he's really turned it on. He's beaten Jason Short 2-1. And the Kaiser, Ralf Suke, his fellow German, also 2-1. So possibly on paper, you would have to have Albin down as favourite, but you can never count out this young man from Germany. So Albin with his first break of the match. No reward. That will bring Felix out of his chair. The 1 is available to the top left, but there's tricky queuing over that 10. Felix is going to be jacking up a little bit, which makes this a rather difficult one to take on. It's called the push. Slid it, maybe the slightest contact with the 10. A push, you can pretty much do what you want aside of scratching on the cue ball. And now Albin has the choice here. Does he want to take this shot on, or does he give it back to Vogel? And he has. So Felix would have had something in his mind here. Maybe trying to just catch Albin in a trap. Let's see what he was thinking. Nearly got full ball cover on the one. Has leaked half a ball. That will allow Albin to play across it. Maybe bring the one ball back towards the two and fire the cue ball up the table. Always a slight risk of a double kiss. For the second time, and in the second rack, he's taken on the bank and made it successfully. More importantly, he's got nice shape on this too. He's just checking to see how the three ball is sitting. It looks like it will pass the five. That will be very useful. May look to draw for the four, although depending on what angle he's got, he may look to just find that window up the right hand side of the table between the 9-10. Went for the draw again. As you can see from this angle, pretty straight on the four. The benefit being he doesn't need to do too much where that five is situated over the bottom right corner. And this layout is starting to very much open itself to Albin here. Full credit to the shot selection. Bringing the cue ball around the angles for the six. Just looking at what pocket is his preferred for the eight. If he wants to take the side, he's going to need to come low down the table from the seven. Otherwise, the bottom right pocket would be his preference. And viewers, this is what you should be expecting from both of these players. They have the ability to run out some really tough racks when presented. And as neither are necessarily prone to mistakes, it really will be who gets the first opportunity in each rack. And the break will start to become that much more important. Albin Ouschan, even though a dry break, able to close out the second rack, brings us to 2-0 in Albin's favour. We have all last 16 matches now underway. There's some big matches out there. Just give you some highlights. Alex Kazakis taking on Mateusz Snogocki. George Georgiev against Joshua Filler. Fedor Gorst taking on Oliver Zolnocki. Jonas Islandboy Suto taking on Viktor Zielinski. Nayuki Oi and Wukan Lin. And finishing off Klenti Kachi taking on Daniel Maciel. That match over on our table 3. As the results of the first set start to come in, I will bring you updates. This is winner breaks format. Refereeing Eva doing a great job here. Albin Ouschan leading 2-0 in this opening set, race to 4 with the break. Well, a lot of movement. Good contact from Albin, but no result with any balls dropping. And now Felix at the table with a very nice look at this one ball. Good spread on the table. These are the opportunities he likes to get his teeth into, and it would really help the scoreline if he could. Looks like that 3 will slide past the 10 into the side pocket, because the 7 is covering it to the top right, as you can see from this angle. It's going to look to float down for the 4. And I mentioned fiery encounter, and this is exactly what I'd come to expect looking at the lineups on the schedule for today. We've had the privilege of following Felix through his junior years, moving into the senior game. World junior titles under his belt. He is really one to watch for. And the more and more he plays on the big stage against the big players, the more comfortable he's going to get out there. And you can see that now. He's very composed. Doesn't need asking twice. So from Albin's dry break, Felix Vogel has been able to convert that into a point on the board, keeping the scoreline within his grasp in this opening set. He's now off the mark, scoreline 2-1, and he will get the break. Well, we just wait for Ava to rack the balls for us. Just a quick update with regards to order of play today. At 4 p.m. we will move into the Predator mixed doubles event winners qualification stage. There are some fantastic lineups in there. Our closing match on day 4 yesterday was a fantastic shootout thriller. You can watch all of these back at your leisure on Pro Billiard TV in their video channel. And in case you weren't over on table 1 just now, another fantastic shootout between Nak Young Song and Fisher, both fighting for their tournament life in the women's event. Back to the Billard Beckmann's men's open in this last 16 matchup. Felix Vogel has got his first point on the board. He gets the break. He's only trailing 2-1, but these are quick races to 4. Didn't get rewarded from his first break. The 9 fell. The 1 is floating down towards the corner pocket and may have left enough of a look. Certainly looks that way from the overhead. Oh, it is tight though. Let's have a look at the face of Felix. And he's focusing on the 2. I don't think he can see the potting angle. He's going to roll across it. Oh, he could. It looked when he was dressing the ball out, he couldn't see the potting angle. He could, but has just lost the cue ball up behind the 6. A little wince from Vogel, but he's looking at taking this on. Into the right centre. We'll be looking for good cue ball. Looks there, the 3 doesn't pass the 10. So yeah, the side pocket was an insurance call. Felix looking to get the cue ball, just muscling into that 6-5 combination. It hasn't worked out. The blue 2 is on, but as you can see, that 3 is not available. The combination onto the 10 may have to be the option for Albin here, but with the angle he's got, it seems quite natural for the cue ball to head in that direction. So keep your eye on the cue ball on this shot. Ooh. That's not going to work. Was a good attempt. And as you can see from where Albin was just putting his hand on the table, he's looking to get the cue ball around that area, cover with the 10. Oh. And that is certainly not going to work. Felix had a look. He won't need to bring his jump stick for this. Got a full look at both sides of the red 3 ball here. Unsure if he went for that or not. But as you can see from that angle, it may not be a whole pocket, but the 3 is available to this corner, maybe also available to the other corner. Nope. Safety the best option. Had to navigate the cue ball round the 10. Did that successfully. Good distance between the 2, but both balls not finding a rail. So there's a little bit to work with here for Vogel. Was looking to bump full into the 10. May still have got cover. Oh. Top left was the call from Albin. His objective, though, is to get that cue ball down, possibly even behind the 10. And he did make the bank as well, so he will stay at the table. He made sure he left himself a little look at this purple 4. It's a long shot to take on. He looks like naturally he's going to come down the right side of the table, so he's either forced into looking at the 5-6 combination or bringing the cue ball down far enough so that maybe the 5 is available to the side pocket. Didn't feel the value was on. Good percentage play. And possibly full ball cover with the safety as well. Certainly you could expect Vogel to be able to jump over the edge to make contact on the 4. He may see something more advantageous out there. Good jump, good contact. The cue ball threatening the corner pocket. Hasn't dropped. Four ball is out in the open. There may be a shot where he feels there is both safe and opportunity to attack. Bit like that. Went for it full-blooded. Hasn't worked out. And now this a chance for Vogel. He's having a look at that combination 5-6. Because again, there's not really much for Felix to work with off the 4. As you can see from this angle, it's not straight. It's not lined up perfect. It's going to need a little bit of maneuvering. Now, as he left himself just needing to play full in the face of the 5, which will find that angle, or does he have to do a little adjustment? Fantastic. Wasn't a straightforward combination to take on. There was a lot of distance there as well between the cue ball and the object ball. This should be now a set winning opportunity for Vogel, and fully deserved. This will just turn the heat up a little bit more in this opening set, especially in this winner breaks format. If a player can just take this match by the scruff of the neck from the break box, good things can happen and scorelines can shift quickly. And Albin getting off to a 2-0 lead. He'd be forgiven to think he could steal a march at that point, but the young German had other ideas, and has brought the scoreline back to 2 apiece. In the balls pocketed department, Albin still just pipping him at the line there, but 2-2 in our opening set, race to 4. It will be Felix returning with the break. Let's just have a little look around the arena for some updates. We'll start from the bottom. Klentikachi 2-2 with Daniel Maciel. Naoki Oi has already taken the opening set against Wu Kunlin. That's impressive in that time. Victor Zielinski currently 3-2 up, opening set against Jonas Suto. And Oliver Zolnocki taken the opening set against Fedor Gorst. I'll keep... Oh, we do have a little squeaky more time. I'll just fire a couple of others. George Georgiev in the opening set against Joshua Filler, leading 3-2. And Alex Kazakis has taken the opening set against the Polish player Mateusz Snegocki, Now, big moment for Felix. Had to watch the scoreline go against him for the first 2 racks. He's dug deep to bring the scoreline back to 2 apiece. Now has the break. Would really like to get on the hill first in this opening set. Not far away with that cut break on the 1 ball, but it hasn't dropped. And that will be a dry break and get Albin back to the table. Had a really interesting conversation with my dear colleague Tim Dodauta yesterday, and he very astutely had been picking up on the players that were taking a little bit of oomph out of their break on the cut break, and it was just preventing object balls getting in the way of the 1 ball. And he felt that players were getting a lot more reward from just playing it a little bit more gently. I'm not too sure if either of these players heard that conversation, but I found it very interesting. And I did notice in our previous match on this table, women's losers qualification matchup between Ina Kaplan and Christina de Gach. Well, Christina had really found that sweet spot, and opening couple of breaks was finding that 1 ball sweetly, and then the moment she started to appear to hit it a bit harder, it wasn't working. So maybe there's something to be said for that. However, Albin to the table, and I think he went for that, hoping that there was some insurance with cover from the 2. May have left an edge of this one, but it's certainly not in an attacking position for Vogel. So he's looking to play off the edge. You just saw where he dressed the tip of his cue down at the bottom right diamond. And he wasn't far away, bringing it behind the 8. It's run full in the face of the 8. The 1 fully visible. Don't think the 8's hampering Albin's bridge. A lot of traffic down the left-hand side of the table. Ooh, that wasn't far away. Albin looking just to finesse that cue ball off the long rail up behind the 9. Was going in that general direction, but didn't make it. And again, maybe an edge of this 1 revealed for Felix. I mentioned there was a lot of traffic down the left-hand side of the table. Vogel's used that to his advantage. There is a window down onto the short rail between the 3-2. Looks like that's what Albin's considering. We'll need to just load up with a tip on the right-hand side here. Oh. Well, he may find himself in trouble after this shot, but to play that as gentle as he did without selling out was a fantastic effort from the Austrian. How can our young German respond? He could try and bank the 1 into the 8 to freeze the 1 there, knowing then that he just needs to find the cover from the 6-10. Oh, I didn't hear what the call was. It looked like something was called towards the bottom right. Maybe the 8. Yeah, nice shot. That's what I imagined would have been the best shot, but I didn't think that Felix could see enough of the one to do it. He could. And I think he's taken a look at the one away from Albin here, which may force him to just have to jump over the edge of that 4-ball. He may make this, and in doing so, he'll be looking to get a bit of fortune. Oh, get a bit of fortune for the 2. The cue ball bananaed once it got to grips with the tablecloth, and it's come flying at the top, down towards Albin here. From that angle, the shot is on to the top right, but it's a difficult shot to take on. Yeah, it was a tricky one. Not necessarily to make the pot, but because there was so much consideration needed with regards to running into the 3, Albin would be forgiven for just falling on that shot. Now, this is a good look for Felix. Won't need to do too much with the 2 to hold for the 3. No trouble out there on the table to need to work with. Yeah, he's just having a little check on the 4. Balls do look very promising out there, but of course care and prudence needed. You cannot take anything for granted. But Vogel looking at 3 racks in a row here to turn around a 2-0 deficit to get to the hill first in this set, and well, that is a big shot across the bow to Albin. Ooh. Ow. Needed distance between the 2 and possibly that cue ball to come out across the table a bit more. They've locked together. Sliding off the edge, looking for cover with the 10, 6 or the 8. Looks good for pace. Looks very good for pace. That's worked out very well. Okay, it's just an edge needed to go over, and also a good opportunity for a 2-rail kick and stick, but nothing guaranteed for Albin to get safe from this 5. He's called the left side pocket. 2 rails coming up behind the 5. Good things could come from this. There is a chance the cue ball could track towards the 9. It didn't, but he has made it in the side pocket. As called. Always a chance that that can go in playing that type of shot. So very wisely called by Albin, even though he was half expecting to just be putting his opponent in a safe position. Now he's got to take the 6 on. But why not? Great recovery shot. Great recovery shot. That has kept him in the thick of this 5th rack. And I have to say, this is quite a swing, really. The momentum with Felix. He looked in commanding form. Oh, Albin drops his head. What did he do that for? Clearly wasn't happy with what he'd done there. But I'm sure he'll take this result. Looks like he's come just low enough to get the cue ball tracking up table. That will work. And this will just take the wind out of Vogel's proverbial sails. Just for the time being, if he is able to take this 9 and 10, I do feel Vogel was just picking up a second gear then, looking to push on for the first set. Albin has something to say about that. Needs the cue ball to roll. It has. This 10 just to regain his lead, which Vogel has just notched away at. And there you have it. Little clap from the home crowd. Albin Ouschan gets to the hill first in this opening set. Looked like he should have done after taking a 2-0 advantage, but Vogel's been fighting back and could very well have been on the hill himself at this point. As you can see from the break statistics, Albin yet to get success. Felix, he's on 33%, 1 from 3. We'll just take a little look out around the table, see if there are any other first set results coming in. Alexa Pichel, Max Lechner over on our table 1. That's 2-2 in the opening set. Alex Kazakis taking the opening set against Mateusz Snegocki has taken the first set in the second. And Joshua Filler and George Georgiev locked at Hill in their opening set. Whoa, there's some dynamite out there. And maybe a few more bangs yet to come. Albin Ouschan now breaking possibly for this opening set. 0% success though, as our stat man has just informed us. This will need to change. And we saw this similar in Jasmine Ouschan's match. She just could not get her break working at all. It didn't necessarily have that much of an impact on the overall scoreline, but when you start getting to these stages of these high-level competitions, you've got to be able to start depending on that break. Now Felix to the table. Looks like he doesn't get to see the 1, so he's going over the edge of the 6. Could play the push, but is electing against it. Didn't hear a call. Ow. That really the most glaring mistake yet of this match so far. And we're now in the 6th rack. Showing you how high quality this is. Ball in hand to Albin. A good spread of the balls. Just having a look, no real alarm bells. Is this going to be the chance that Albin needs to take this first set? Because if Vogel gets back to the table, he will be looking to take this to a hill decider. So Albin calling his extension quite rightly. This could be the key shot here. Getting from 2 to 3. Everything else looks a little bit easier to navigate for, if you could say that at this stage. Played well. Can focus on the pot here. The 4 dressed up very nicely over the side pocket. 5 may be hampered to the bottom right, so Albin will need to come back across centre table from the 4 for the 5. Just like that, drawing the cue ball back across centre table. That's worked out very nicely. This is now Albin Ouschan's rack to give away. Otherwise, I fully expect him to close this first set out. And really, the story so far, valiant comeback from Felix. Should have been the first player on the hill in my view. But that's the wonderful world of pool for you. Albin instead taking the hill. Just using all the pocket. Albin not fully convinced. Just knocking that one out of his head. Now, he's a little straight on this 8. He can put a shot on this if he chooses to. Otherwise, I would suggest he just takes the longer 9. He's gone to put a shot on it. Flirting with the side pocket. Looks to have come out enough. And this 10. For the opening set goes to Albin Ouschan, and I must say, in summary, this could have been a different result for the opening set. Felix Vogel, after going 2-0 down, fought valiantly to get back into this, and one small slip-up has allowed Albin just to get the momentum back, and he is able to continue on, and will go into the second set with a 1-0 lead. Quick update from other of the TV tables while our players just take a break over on table 1. Max Lechner, another home hopeful, is 3-2 up against Alexa Pichel. That's over on table 1. And over on table 3, Clenti Caci is taking on Daniel Maciel. Daniel Maciel taking that opening set. Looks like they've just taken a break as well. And while our players take a break, I will do the same, and we'll rejoin with you all very, very shortly for set 2 action. Don't go anywhere. And as we wait for Felix to return to his chair, a very warm welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to this last 16 fiery encounter in the Billard Beckmann Men's Open here in the Austrian Alps. Well, the story so far, Albin Ouschan taking the opening set 4-2, but really for me, it's just down to, and this is the quality of the match so far, one foul coming from Felix, really the difference in my view. The break not working for Albin, 0%, so he's now breaking from the centre. My name's Gethin Davis, and I will be flying solo with you for this second set. Albin trying something different. As that cue ball continues spinning, nothing has dropped. Maybe a little window to pick the edge up of the one here, but as this is after the break, Felix can play a push if he wants to. For our astute, eagle-eyed viewers, the only other thing I really picked up from in the statistics was Albin's had 100% safety efficiency. But for me, it's just been the story of one mishap. One scratch from Felix has been the difference so far. He's played a decent shot there, getting distance between object ball and one ball. Well, we just wait for Albin to take this shot. Just want to let you know, this is a 96-player field with a total prize pot of $125,000. Just for getting into the last 32, you were picking up a check of $1,095. But the money really is up near the top. $37,500 for the champ. $17,500 for second place. And very healthy numbers throughout. Now, maybe slightly unorthodox, playing the one into the 10, nearly dropped the 10 in the side pocket, which would have made this interesting, as it would have meant Felix could have put Albin back in. However, that cue ball's finished in a very favourable position. Felix looking at the one rail escape. Oh, that's worked out really well and gets a well-deserved round of applause from the crowd. He judged that to perfection. Only real escape with the one rail escape for Albin. I wouldn't put him past him getting it close to that bottom left corner, bottom right corner from the overhead, which he has called. Ooh. And this is what Vogel wanted. Good save. Okay, not ball in hand, but you don't really expect to get ball in hand from either of these players with such great escape games. But this is a chance. All 8 matches in the last 16 underway, as I mentioned. All of them now into their second sets. I'll bring you some updates on the scores in a moment, but all eyes glued to Felix. He would really like to get off first in this second set. Albin did it in the first, taking the first 2. He's just had a little look at that 5. I would say it passes the 7. If not, he'll come above it for the side pocket. Maybe even if it did pass the 7, he preferred this route. And this, much more textbook now for Felix. I don't know if he's worried about the 8. I'm just wanting to make doubly sure. In doing so, I think he's just going to bring it long rail to make doubly sure. But just nice that Felix took a step away, reasserted his options. Very mature head on young shoulders, this young German. And now you feel with good position on the 8. This opening rack in the second set should be a formality. Indeed, did all the hard work, is rewarded with a couple of easy closing out pots here, including the 10. And that is our second set with its seal broken. Felix Vogel taking the opener, leads 1 rack to 0, although he does trail 1 set to 0 in this race to 3. This is a must-win set for him. I mentioned all matches now in their second set. I'll run through them quickly with you from bottom to top. Daniel Maciel's taken the opening set against Clenti Kachi. Clenti's responded, winning the first rack in their second set. Naoki Oi is 1 set to 0 up over Wu Kunlin, and they're locked at 1 apiece. Victor Zelensky's taken the opening set against Jonas Suto, and they're back to 1 apiece in their second set. And Oliver Zolnocki has taken the opening set against Fedor Gorst. I may have mentioned that before. Fedor's responded. He's now leading 3-1. And we have a little bit more time. Joshua Phil has lost the first set to George Georgiev, and George is 2-0 up in the second set. It's over on table 8. I'll get some more reports back on that. And Alex Kazak is taking the opening set against Matthias Snigoczki. They are locked at 2 apiece. If you want to keep updated with the scores, ProBilliardSeries.com. You can get all the latest and the fixtures, not just for this, but also our mixed doubles event and the Belarus Carino Women's Open. Now, Felix leading 1-0. What can he get from his break here? Oh dear. Oh dear. Only our second scratch of the match, this time coming from the break. Albin's eyes just focusing on the 5-6. Looks available to the side pocket. Couple of glances over at that 5-6. Looks forever and a day like he's going to have to bump into the 6. You always have to step with trepidation in them situations. And he knows he's working himself towards that position. I'm unsure if he's able to play it clean and draw back to be able to take the 6 either into the same side pocket or up into the top left. He ideally would want to be taking it into the bottom left, but the 10 ball looks like it's going to have something to say about that, so we'll find out now what Albin's thinking. But this will be a very good response to Felix's opener in this second set. Well, I think he may have the option to be able to draw back without disturbing it. Looks close. Whew. He was. Now he's going to be running a little bit into the 8 here. He'd like to miss it and come back across table if he could. Maybe playing it a little bit thinner than he needs to. No, he's had to go for that. A nudge into the 8. This key shot, 7 to 8. And Albin could find himself back level in the second set. Just to cheat it around the 10. Did that well. You always need to be careful not to play them shots with too much pace. These Predator arc tables, although playing beautifully, cut quite tight for these players, which means they just have to be that bit more precise. And a small ripple of applause from the home crowd as Albin does win that rack to bring the scoreline back to level. 1 apiece in the second set, and he's leading 1 set to 0. And with winner breaks, we'll see him come back to the table. The only other match I forgot to mention during the last roundup in this last 16 group in the Billard Beckmann Men's Open is over on our table 1, and that's the matchup between Alexia Pichel and Max Lechner, Mad Max Lechner, who, well, the Austrian Max has taken the opening set and is now 1-0 up in that second set. So at the moment, both Austrians in this last 16 taking their opening sets respectively. Can they both represent and push through to our quarterfinals? Well, Albin will certainly want to be doing that right now. With the break, 1 apiece, leading 1 set to 0. Wow, Albin not able to buy a ball off the break. Couple threatening, but nothing dropping. Now what's Felix got in front of him here? A long one into the top right. And where the cue ball is, it's not that close to the cushion. If he wanted to, he could certainly take this on. This is well within his remit. There's always a danger when powering them in on these tightly cut pockets that they will get spat out, and it has done on this occasion, and it hasn't gone safe. Certainly a lot of value in taking this one on. Where the 2 is positioned, he should be guaranteed position on the 2. He was having a look at the 4, because he's going to need to come over to that side of the 4 where the cue ball is now to take on the cut to the top right. Don't think there's enough gap behind that 8. No, no, no. That is a miss. Asked a little bit too much of the slide on the side rail there. Hitting it too thick. And these are the opportunities that you might get once or twice in a match against Albin. In fact, probably likely to be the only getting these a couple of times from Felix as well. Really important that you jump on it when you've got the chance. This, not only a good chance, but this angle on the 3, good opportunity to pop over across to the left towards the 8 ball. Fantastic stuff. Such a calm and collected young gentleman. Joy to watch. Always making sure he stays the right side of the ball. Just makes his position for the next shot that bit easier. Keeps him under control. He's not chasing anything. 7 to 8. Key shot here. And this to retain that 1 rack advantage in this second set. I was going to say the winner of this match will get to have a rest to return tomorrow. However, if Albin were to win, he won't get to rest. There's mixed doubles action coming up after this at 4 p.m. Albin with his sister Albin Ouschan, one of the top teams in this tournament. Felix fully focused on the singles and has taken, or rather regained, that 1 rack advantage. Leads 2-1. If he can push on here and get to the hill, we could be looking very good to get to a 3rd and deciding set. I was always hoping personally it would go to 3 sets, but I know what both these players are capable of. And in this winner's break format, it could be very quickly over in 2 sets. So far, it's not gone lopsided. And when we get a look at the statistics, we'll find out if and how there may be any imbalances in this match. The score clearly from the opening set, but Felix has looked formidable. It was only one foul in the opening set, really the difference between the pair. Quite a few of the players here for this Pro Billiard Series event will be remaining for the Euro Tour as well. Now, will this be Felix's opportunity to keep Albin in his chair and get onto the hill first in this second set, must-win set? It won't be the 1 ball doing it though. And a familiar sight. I will say it again. And he's usually right on most occasions. Tim de Lauter, he was referring to very knowledgeably about the players that were just taking a little bit of zing out of their breaks. And it was just allowing the balls to break, not necessarily freer, but they weren't colliding as much. As you can see from the success department, Albin hasn't got off the mark. Felix, well, sitting at 20%. However, more key, he's made a foul off the break. One scratch. Called the combination. Not sure if he did believe there was any opportunity to get shape on the one after making contact with the two. That took that one out of the equation. Now he's still at the table. It's a target to aim for where the 7-6-9 cluster is. However, if he doesn't get cover the way he would need to play it to get there, he may leave the one out in the open. He's gone for the 7. Oh, a little nudge has just popped that cue ball out. However, where that 10 is, there's a good chance it's full ball cover. Although Felix down on the shot quickly. Could see an edge. Oh, that little flick on the 4 may have helped. Just eliminate the potting angle for the bottom left pocket, rather bottom right as you look at the overhead. The one is on to the other corner pocket, the top right as we look at the screen, bottom right now for the offensive strategy, but I can't imagine there's value in that. That's good knowledge from Albin there. These top players, they're able to fire the cue ball into an object ball knowing that that's where the cue ball's going to land, and then you can really focus on where you put the ball you want to hide. Now, this camera angle indicates that Albin may have left a pathway through to this one. That's what Felix is looking at, I think. No, he couldn't. Had to go for the 2-rail escape. Played it well. Good contact. It'd be unfortunate if he sold out. There is a pathway for the 1 past the 5. I don't think Albin can see the potting angle, though. Quick hot off the press update as Albin crouches down to survey the angles. Fedor Gorst has come back to take the second set against Oliver Zolnocki. They're now 1 apiece, taking their break before the third final set kicks off. Bringing it back here, still in second set action. That's what he's played for there. He's looked to create distance. Cue ball nearly locked on that centre diamond on the short rail. What's the Birdman having a look at there? Is he looking just to slot the 1 ball into that and bring the cue ball back towards where we are with the camera? Yeah. 3-ball order of the day to get in the way. Well, there's a jump shot on, but no combinations. And maybe Albin can take a chunk of the one off the short rail. If he can, that might be the best plan. Cue ball coming back down the table, like this. Oh, delightful. Delightful. We saw some great shots like this played in our mixed doubles open yesterday evening, a matchup between the two Spanish players, FSR, Maite Rapero. They were taking on Kazakis and Fischer. And some of their exchanges in safety play, getting out of safes and putting their opponent in safe, it was second to none. This from Albin, a great example of that, but look at the reply. How cool can you be? Felix calling that from the escape. And although has been unfortunate to not leave something easier on the two, was going on the offense. That was rather thin. I think he was not forced into that, but felt that with the cue ball running into the 4 so heavily, he was always going to have shape on the 3. So full credit to Vogel. Just didn't make it. Well, after that fantastic shot by Felix, definitely a highlight reel shot. I was sat here thinking he'd be the first player to put their foot on the hill. However, now, looking at the layout of the balls, and as long as that cue ball behaves for Albin and he's able to get back up for the 6, well, it won't be Felix on the hill. He'll be locked at 2-2. And still very much a conundrum left in this second set. Yes, that will work. They really are living up to my introduction when I said 2 cool, calm, relaxed styles meeting will equal fire. Some people may have thought I was losing my marbles. How can cool and cool equal fire? Well, you're seeing it, ladies and gentlemen. This is exactly what I meant. Neither player can afford to give their opponent an inch. And Albin Ouschan is not going to let Felix get to the hill yet. This second set, 2-2. And well, with Albin Ouschan getting the break, maybe it's the Austrians' opportunity to get to the hill first in this second set. His countryman over on our table 1, Max Lechner, well, he certainly got the memo. After taking the opening set, he now leads 3-0 against Alexia Pichal. The Serbian gonna need to dig deep there. And Alex Kazakis, Matis Negocki, as I mentioned, locked at 1 apiece. Joshua Filler fighting back against Georgi Georgiev as he trails 1-0. But Georgiev's on the hill, 3-2 in their second and possibly decisive second set. Eva Poskicilova doing a fantastic job here. All of our referees, timekeepers, been doing a fantastic job. There's a lot of action, a lot of activity going on out there. And a lot of players to keep under control. And so far, so very good. Now, just had a little clap coming over from the other table. That's our Austrian Mad Max Lechner taking the second set and closing that match out in convincing style against the Serbian. He will progress through to the quarterfinals. One Austrian already in the quarterfinals. Will we see a second? Ooh, one ball is down, but no look at the two. Albin is not going to get this rack his way. There's a bit more work to do. And certainly a possibility of Felix coming back to the table. Well, Albin has a little consideration hot off the press. I mentioned coming up after this at 4 o'clock, an hour and a half from now, will be the Predator Mixed Doubles Open winners qualification stage. The matches have already been decided. On this table we will have from Poland Wesolowska Snegocki taking on Han Yu and Kunlin Wu. On table 1 will be Pia and Joshua Filler taking on Savannah Roadrunner Easton and Jason Shaw. And table 3, Zhang Zolnoki taking on the all-Japanese pairing, Kawahara and Nayuki Oi. Now, Albin playing the push. Didn't feel there was any value in trying to get something off the two. Felix giving it him back. Now, was this what Albin had up his sleeve? He's looking at using the mirror system here to play long rail, and he's going for this. He's looking to make this two ball in the top right corner, I believe. Looks like the cue ball will run towards the 6 if so, but if he can avoid the 6, there are rewards to be had on getting position for the 3. 2-2 second set. Is he playing with fire? Well, whether he is or not, he knew darn well that he was going to run into that 6. He's played that particularly so he can freeze the cue ball there and take this long 3 ball on. And I tell you what, it's not a bad shot to take on, because if he does play it dead weight and it doesn't drop, he should get cover on it. He's playing for the purple 4 next, into the same pocket. That's not going to work. That was quite a margin away. Yes, a difficult shot to take on. Definitely value in attacking at that position. Albin certainly felt that way. However, these are the opportunities that can come your way, and Felix hasn't really been needed to be asked twice in this position so far. You can just pick up on Albin having quiet words with himself and a little shake of the head, looking rather tanned over there as well, I hasten to add. Clearly a little bit disappointed with the result from that effort of him. Maybe just coming to terms with the fact that Felix is very likely to be returning to his chair on the hill in this second set. A little smirk from Felix there. I'm just wondering if that cue ball just shot off the cushion a little bit more than he anticipated. Still, not a problem for the young German. Can force follow through here off the short rail and back down the table, or can draw into the long rail. He's done that very nice. And now perfect angle to come back up the top of the table for the 9. And after that missed 2 ball, from Albin. It needed a bit of work doing. But Felix about to say thank you very much, I'll have that. And will he return to the chair with a 3-2 lead and the break in the second set? Yes, he will. Absolutely fantastic stuff. This young lad never drops his head. And in his calm way has got himself now back in great position to take this to a third set. He will return with the break. He'd ideally like to keep Albin sat in his chair. I mentioned about the result coming in. Max Lechner beating Alexa Pichel. I'll start from the bottom. After taking the opening set between Daniel Maciel and Clenti Caci, Daniel Maciel with his 1-0 lead now finds himself 3-2 down in the second. Clenti looking to take that to a third set. Now Yuki Oi, who won the first opening set against Wu Kunlin, is now trailing 2-3. So Wu, in retrospect, looking to do the same and take it to a third deciding set. Jonas Suto, Island Boy, locked up 1-1 apiece with Victor Zielinski. They've kicked their third set off. Victor winning the first rack there. Oh, and as I'm speaking, I can confirm Wu Kunlin of Chinese Taipei has won that second set, so they are 1 set apiece, him and Naoyuki Oi. And one other quick one. Fedor Gorst, after getting that second set back to tie, has taken a 2-0 lead in that decider against Oliver Zolnocki. Well, the temperature outside is warming up here in the Austrian Alps. This wonderful Alpina Alpendorf hotel, and the action is certainly warming up inside. Felix Vogel with the break and the opportunity to close this second set out and take us to a deciding third set. Not a bad break. And the second time, I believe, he's been making balls off the break. Unfortunate with the leave, though. You can see what he's doing there. And he's certainly letting Albin know what he's thinking. He's looking at where he can push into a jump shot position. Certainly a useful way to go. But our ever so knowledgeable Tim Derauter in the box here who is also a formidable player on the European scene, well, he does talk about players just locking up 2 balls on the table just to make runouts a little bit more difficult for your opponent. However, not on this occasion. And Albin's not one to turn down a jump opportunity. That was close. However, arguably you have to say, not a bad ploy by Felix. Asked the question. Of course, Albin could have given that shot back to him. He didn't. First opportunity in this 6th rack for Felix. What can he do with this opportunity? Let's have a little look. Does that 4 past the 8 into the side? If not, it certainly goes to the bottom right. That's what he's played for. 7-10 looks quite nicely suited for a combination. I'm sure we'll see another camera angle there and you may start laughing at me at home, but from here it looks like they could be well put together. Slightly off, but well within these players' remit. And if not, could be an angle to play the cue ball into a position to take the 7 on, perhaps into the bottom right. I do like the combination though as well, but he's left himself an angle here where he could even run into them if he wanted to move a ball or 2. Options for the young German. He's going to come down and have a closer inspection, and I don't blame him one bit. He did go into them. I was just having a little look at the leave. I do like this being on for the side pocket, but he does need to put a bit of a shot on it to get shape on the 8. Ho ho ho! Felix Vogel needed to put a little bit of a shot on it, and let me tell you, them side pockets are not very forgiving. He's thundered that one in. And will the Birdman take this 2nd set and take us to a 3rd and deciding? Certainly looks like he will. What composure from this young German. Responding with Albin Ouschan's 4-2 win in the opening set, with again 4-2, but in Vogel's favour. And that will move us through to a deciding 3rd set. Players will just take a short break. We will bring up the statistics for both set 1, set 2 and match overall. We'll leave you having a little look at them. I will take a quick short break with the players. I'm getting hot too. We will be back with you all very shortly for the culmination of this match, start of the 3rd set. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back. A warm welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as you join us on day 5 for this live action of the last 16 matchup in the Billard Beckmann Men's Open. I've just jumped in early before Felix returns to his chair. Albin has already returned back. Before we start this third and final set, just to reflect on the statistics as they've come up here. And what a reflection on balls pocketed, like for like. Complete mirror, set 1 to set 2, as is the scoreline. Felix holding steady with a 33% success on the break. And really, Albin leading in the safety department, but I don't know, there's not much to pick between the two here. And as we move into this deciding set, it's going to be very interesting to see if the break success is going to play a role, or if indeed we are going to turn into a bit of a safety battle. But in summary so far, Albin, very well deserved opening set. Just one mistake from Felix, pounced on with a scratch. And then second set, again, one mistake by Felix, a scratch. Did threaten the scoreline, but through grit and determination and some great quality clearances, Felix has taken that second set. And while we just wait for him to return, I'll give you a quick update. We do have one more result coming in, and I have to say this is a bit of a shocker. What a performance. Georgiev from Bulgaria has taken a straight set win against Joshua Filler of Germany. Joshua will have been on paper as one of the favourites, and a couple of players in the tournament will be raising their eyebrow at that. But full credit to Georgiev, he must have played out of his skin. Good signs for him for the rest of this tournament. Felix on his way back. Let's sneak a couple of updates in for you. Alex Kazakis, Matthias Snegotski locked at 1 set apiece. Also locked at 1 apiece in their third deciding set. Fedor Gorst, as I mentioned, got back that set to come 1-1 with Oliver Zolnocki. He's now leading 2-1 in their third deciding set. And Victor Zielinski is locked at 1 set apiece with the island boy Jonas Suto. Zielinski leading 2-1 in their deciding set. There's 2 more updates to come, as we will need to wait for that, because I am eagerly anticipating Felix's break. Fantastic performance and reply for him in this second set. He will get our third set underway. Looking for a big break here. Yeah. Making ball on the break, as he did in the last one, but on this occasion he's got shape on the 2. Big difference, big opportunity. The 4 should sneak past the 6. The 7 could sneak past the 8. The 5. The 5 is the one he's going to need to think about. There is a 5-8 combination if he decides. And that's what he looks like he's playing for. Big shot to make after this 4. Good offensive play from Felix. Just finished a little bit off, should we say, on this 5. He's going to still go for this. Needs that 5 to behave, needs to find a window to get to it. Oh, Felix. That is unfortunate. But that can come from combination shots like that when you are moving other balls. Can he avoid the 10 and catch that short rail where he's looking now? Because if he can, he could be able to pot this and still remain at the table. As you can see where the 6 ball is, he can just focus on the 5. He's elected against that. I don't think he can see enough of the short rail to be able to get the cue ball to contact the 5 in the right manner. He's going across the table. Big shot to take on. Came into it with force. And that's not worked out too bad at all, although where that 7 is, I have a sneaking suspicion that Albin is going to want to use that for cover with the cue ball. He has taken on 2 ambitious and successful bank shots in this match so far. Don't think this is the time to do it. Yeah, he's used that 7 for cover. Instead of with the cue ball, though, with the 5. Flirted with the top left pocket, the cue ball, but this tricky shot for Vogel. He'll certainly be expecting to make contact with it. Looking to just run into it. Oh, a ball's width away from being perfect, and it's a foul, but there's no good look at the 5. Good possibility to take this bank on, but a very good possibility to sell out if you miss. That's what he's called. Wow, successful bank. Has really been able to depend upon his bank shot prowess. That's now given him a thin 6, but just gently dropped. Like that. And looking good to take this opening rack, and well, it did look like it was going to be Felix's. Just one. Well, it wasn't even a misjudgment. It was just leaving it to the elements a little bit after playing that wonderful combination shot. And Albin's back at the table. First rack of our third set in the bag, and that's gone to Albin Ouschan. The home support will be loving that already. An Austrian through to the quarterfinals. Max Lechner beating Alexa Pichel. There was 2 scorelines I wasn't able to get to. Naoki Oi and Wu Kunlin, well, they're locked at 1 set each. Wu Kunlin from Chinese Taipei taking the opening in the 3rd deciding set there. And Klenti Kaci, Daniel Maciel locked at 1 set each. Klenti Kaci, the Albanian, taking the first in their deciding set. So all matches now remaining in play in their third and deciding set. Fedor Gorst and Oliver Zolnocki. Well, Gorst is the first on the hill, Zolnocki's on 2. Wonder if there'll be any shootouts to come. Did I say that word too soon? Well, Albin to break, leading 1-0, tied at 1 set each in this deciding third set. Ooh. Hand on hip time for Albin, made the one in the side pocket. However, the cue ball shortly following it. Ball in hand to Felix. Important time of the match. Five passes the 10. Actually, Albin made 2 off the break, the 1 and the 9 ball. I thought there was one missing. And now, a great opportunity for Felix to respond. He's been doing this so well in the match so far. Okay, 5 passes the 10. Albin can do nothing from his chair. He knows he cannot give this young German an inch in this match, because this is exactly what we've come to love him for, his ability to clear under pressure. These younger players coming through the junior ranks just have no fear. They are not daunted by any prospect, and they have such good fundamentals to rely upon. And a nice drag shot on that cue ball. Well, neither player yet able to run away in this deciding set. Very indicative of how this match has gone so far. As I mentioned, you would definitely have Albin down as the on-paper favourite. But that does not count for much when your opponent is displaying such good clearance skills as well. 1-1, moving as ever so closer. To the finish line. We're having a quick look out. Are there any updates to come in? Well, no, we did give you an update very recently, just to let you know what these players are battling it out for. 96 players started on day 1. We're down to the last 16 now. It's $125,000 in the prize pool for this event alone. We've got 3 running concurrently, and that will be $37,500 for the champion. For the runner-up, $17,500. And then moving down, 3rd and 4th will pick up $8,750. 5th place to 8th place, $4,375. 9th to 16th. We're in the last 16 bracket now. Guaranteed 2190. Sorry, 2,190. And for those in 17th to 32 place, still a very nice tidy packet of $1,095. A lot of money out there up for grabs. Oh, and at the right time, Vogel just seems to have got his brake working. If I'm right in thinking, the last 3 he's been making balls off the brake, maybe 4. Keep an eye on our stats as they're coming in. Oh yeah, he's up to 50% where he was on 0 before. Thank you very much, Mike Salmon. 1 foul each off the brake. Both scratches. Now, nothing on the 2. Looking to push on with the safe. Oh, did that cue ball nestle up against the 4? Because if not, Albin may be able to see this 2. Well, he's not giving us anything from his body language. He's having a really good look. I think he's made a call of sorts, but I think that's just as insurance. You clearly can see a little of this. Oh, you could see the right edge of it. Was looking to play that off the 8 into the corner pocket, but first and foremost was his cue ball control, which he's executed fantastically. And we saw Albin make a shot similar to this earlier in this match. Felix is going to play a 2-rail kick and potentially stick, with the 2 threatening to go towards the side pocket. Caught it thinner. Might not be too bad if the 7 comes into play. Oh, it hasn't. First real opportunity in this 3rd rack. My deciding set coming to Albin. Played nicely. Allowed him to go at that with a bit more venom rather than having to play a delicate shot, using the 9 to freeze the cue ball. Looks like he's even got a nice angle to come up for the 4. This really is like a boxing match, trading blows for blow. And they're both doing it in such a calm way. It's a joy to watch, joy to commentate on. Now, Albin straight on the 4. Has options for the 5, side or top left. If you can avoid the 8 now and run the cue ball around 2 angles, that would help. Otherwise he's going to be drawing as he is now, jacking up and getting a little... He was able to avoid it. I was going to say he was still threatening to take a little chunk of the 8. Fantastically done. This match is on a precipice. And this should be Albin retaining his one-rack advantage in this third deciding set. And that a straightforward 10. Ooh, okay. I am, even if the players aren't showing it, I'm getting nervous watching this. Albin Ouschan regaining the lead, 2-1 in this deciding set, and will have the break. I tell you what, that's not a bad position to be in, because Vogel's break is certainly working for him. And you feel if he is to pop a point on the board and get back to the table, there is every threat of Albin not getting out of his chair. Now that will definitely be the same playbook for Albin. Quick look around. We do have one other result come in from Ibiza, Spain. Jonas Suto has taken a 2-1 win over Victor Zielinski. And that must have been a real tough encounter. Both them players very flamboyant, can make the big shots. Bit of a contrast to players, the two players we have here. These are two cool dudes, should we say. If anything, Albin a little bit more expressive with his mannerisms. Sometimes can look bored with the game when he's just making it look that easy. But let me not take anything away from Felix, as the scoreline suggests. Both these players in with a chance of taking this third set. Albin currently with the advantage, 2-1 lead, deciding set. Well, Albin's not going to remain at the table because that is a dry break. And this is what Felix will have hoped for, just to get back to the table. He won't mind what he's left with. He'll take this one on by the looks of it. Just looks like his ears have pricked up a little bit. Played it well. Played it very well. The only real consideration for Felix out there is that 5-6 cluster. Shouldn't present him with a problem, but it's the only real alarm bell ringing out at me right now. He's played that 2 very nicely. Not the easiest of shots playing them. Now purposefully finishing that side of the 4. He's now looking to come off that long rail where he's just dressed his cue. Sort of first diamond down from the left side pocket is where that cue ball needs to be tracking towards, and he won't mind picking up a second bounce, or rather that second rail. This very likely to be key shot in this rack. Does pick up that second bounce. He's played that beautifully. Oh, we have a match on our hands, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure you'd already worked that one out after the second set. But if there was any doubt whatsoever, this young German, Felix Vogel, is always going to deliver fireworks. Can he deliver the win? This rack will go a long way towards it. Okay, not bad at all. Okay, the cue ball's rested on the short rail, but that's a natural angle now to float up the table. Looking to pick this one into the side pocket, likewise with the 9. It's looking rather elementary, as Sherlock used to say to Dr. Watson. And we are going 2-2 in this third deciding set. And I am not going to pick a winner. Ooh, a big cheer from the arena. I'll keep an eye on the scores just in case there's a firework attached to that one. But let's just recap here. Felix has not bowed down one bit. He will come back to the table with the break, and I'll have to say, I'll stick my neck out. With the way the breaks are currently going, I think the advantage is with Felix. I'm sure Albin will have something to say about that. And while we do, let's just see if any other results are in. No, not by the look of it. Alex Kazakis, Matthias Snegotski locked at 2-2 in their decider. Woo Kun Lin 3-1 up against Nayuki Oi in their deciding set. And Clenty Kachi on the hill in quick fire format. 3-0 leading in the deciding set against the Pole Daniel Massiol. 2-2. Felix with the break. He's been making balls the last 2-3 breaks. Can he convert a break and run, keep Albin in his chair, and get on the hill first in this deciding set? The familiar sight of that one ball being knocked out of its pathway as it's tracking towards the side pocket. Very reminiscent of quite a few breaks we've come to see throughout this tournament. Nothing to attack. Well, I say nothing to attack for Albin. I'll say that. He'll end up banking it into the left side pocket, but I can't imagine so. He can get the cue ball locked behind the 7 here. That could be very handy. Well, he's done both of my suggestions, and he only really needed to take one of them. That is an unforced error, you have to say. And the pickle that he was looking to put his opponent in, he now finds himself in the same jar. So, I'm not sure there's even a pathway to the 2. If he can see enough of that long rail, he may be able to spin it up. Otherwise, he could come 2 rails, playing it back towards where his head is now. God, this is a difficult shot. 2-2 deciding set. Oh, good hit. great hit. May have sold out position, but object one achieved. Yeah, Vogel having a good look at that 3. I have a feeling he's looking to tee himself up to play safe from it. He'll be looking to lock that cue ball in against the 8. In very similar fashion to Albin did with the cue ball on the 7. But on this occasion, it will be for the opponent to take on and not being returned to the person who played the safe. So that's what he wanted. That's what he's got. Great shot. Vogel really keeping in the driver's seat at the moment. Had to put a bit of side effect on the cue ball there. It's just taken a bit more than he'd hoped. Ball in hand, Vogel. No immediate issues on the table. This is all going to be about cue ball control and picking the right pattern. And Felix Vogel could get his 1 foot in the door of the quarterfinals. Yeah, nicely done. Stayed high on the 5 to float down for the 6. 6 goes in both pockets, I believe. Bottom left, bottom right. Play that nice. Good position on the 8. I reckon this hill is guaranteed for the young German. Great persistence. That will do nicely. Oh my. This is going to put Felix Vogel on the hill. Ask a massive question of Albin. There'll be Austrian fans in the arena pushing Albin on. But there is absolutely nothing he can be doing from his chair. Vogel just composing himself, and I don't blame him one bit. Call your extension. Do whatever you need to do to get that composure. No need for any adrenaline in the arm. This 10 ball to take the hill first in this deciding set and leave Albin in a tough position. He has done. Great stuff. Great stuff from the young German. Let's have a little look at what's going on over on the other tables. couple more results in. Plenty catchy. Has taken that match against Daniel Maciol, winning 2-1. Woo Kun Lin currently on the hill, 3-2 up in the deciding set against Naoki Oi. Alex Kazakis trailing 3-2 in the deciding match there against the Polish player Matthias Snugocki. And the rest of results, and if you want to keep your eye on these results and the fixtures coming up for the remaining 3 days action here in Austria, I say remaining 3 days, we will have a one-day break afterwards and come back for the Euro Tour. Again, all matches on Pro Billiard TV. But if you do want to keep an eye on all of the information and get links to the forthcoming events coming up, I will give you a couple of highlights. Do visit probilliardseries.com. Now, I am sure you're all glued to the screen at home. We are getting to the real crunch time here. Felix Vogel having to come back from a one-set deficit. Now finds himself on the hill in the third and deciding set. Yeah, good break. Making the one, but not getting anything on the two. I have to say, Felix's breaks have just shifted up a notch during the closing stages of the second set and into this third. Remarkably marked difference, and it's proving very fruitful for him. Got away with that a little bit. Maybe leaked an edge for Albin. Calling his extension early. There's a lot of game left out on that table. He's getting close to that 10 ball. Ava will be looking in closely. Well, containing safety, good distance. No offensive option you feel for Felix here, but from a defense perspective, there are opportunities. He's just working out where object ball and cue ball are going to track after making contact. A lot of distance between these two. This needs to be very precise. Ooh, that little double kiss. What a swing. Did not want that, resulting in a scratch. Ball in hand for Albin. In a must-win rack for him. Whew. This is what he'll have wanted. Now, not a straightforward pattern here, but not too many problems to have to consider. I mentioned while you're on the Pro Billiard Series website, you'll get links to our up-and-coming events. From Austria, we move over to Rome, 31st of July, for the WPA Women's 10-Ball World Championships, the Predator Wheelchair Open, and the Fujifilm Women's Doubles Masters Showdown. And then we're really clocking up the miles. We'll be moving to Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam in September, Bali, Indonesia for the beginning of October, and then across to the USA, Texas, San Antonio, the end of November, and then for our big final meetup in Jacksonville, 15th of December to the 20th of December, and a favourite in our calendar, when we get a lot of the Predator and Pro Billiard Series team together. Back to Albin. He's picking these off nicely. He's probably going to look to put the 6, 7 and 8 all in the same pocket. And I've tried not to harp on about this to tempt fate. But if we get to 3-3, I'm sure you'll all know, especially after mentioning it about table 1 just now, we're going to move into a shootout. Some would say only fair that it went to a shootout. I'm sure Felix was really hoping that he was able to push on. He wasn't. And that scratch brings Albin to take this to a shootout, and a little exchange of words and a handshake. I think Ava giving them the opportunity to go for a break if they want. Oof. I can't take my eyes off the screen. Now, while my eyes are on the screen, we've got the statistics up for both players. They will not really matter now at this stage, but just interesting to glean a few insights. No fouls from Albin until the 3rd set, where he made 2. And Felix's figures just going up and up and up as the match has progressed, really finding form. This is going to be down to Albin with the home advantage, perhaps, deep in the Austrian Alps, at the Alpina Alpendorf Hotel. Or will it be Felix Vogel, who's fought so hard in this match? Well, that was played with a lot of authority. 1 for 1. Just to give you a bit of update with regards to the format, they will play alternate shootout shots from either side. If it's locked at 4 apiece, and the cue ball moves back a diamond, and it makes it that bit trickier. Fantastic. 1 for 1. Both players will move over to the other side. Our last match on table 1 went all the way to a shootout. That was the matchup between Nak Kyung Song and Kelly Fisher in our Women's Open. Kelly losing out, Nak Kyung Song winning 5-4 in that shootout. Now, Felix, his first one, played with authority, will be looking to replicate that here. With the added pressure of the shot clock breathing down his neck. Again, solid pot. 2 for 2 for Felix. Albin looking to do likewise. A couple of cheers coming in the background. That will be from a result or two. I'll bring you some updates, but not right now. Ooh, the first fault. And it comes from the Austrian. Felix taking a good glug of water, finishing off that bottle. And he will return to the table with a little cushion. If he makes this one, Albin cannot afford to miss. Never in doubt. Never in doubt. And just a quick look at the scoreboards. This is the last match in play. All other matches have come to a close. All eyes will be fixated upon Albin and Felix here. Albin, this a must pot for him. Otherwise, this could be the end of his Billard Beckmann Men's Open. All pocket. Now, I thought he'd finished his bottle, unless he's got another one on the go. Felix taking another big glug of refreshment. Both players must be feeling the heat out there. Albin looking rather relaxed by all accounts. I'm not too sure how he's managing that. This Temple for a place in the quarterfinals and to top up, or rather top off, what has been a fantastic performance. The grit and determination from Felix. Nothing Albin can do but watch on. And there we have it. He didn't look like missing. Albin the first to falter. And that will see his exit. A big congratulations to Felix Vogel there, who has really played out of his skin, well deservedly will take his place in the quarterfinals. I said this was going to be a fiery encounter between two very cool customers, and that indeed it was. Coming up next, we will have the winners' qualification in the Predator mixed doubles event. That will be coming up in 30 minutes from now, and on this table we have the two Polish pairing, the all-Polish pairing with Wesolowska and Snigocki, and they're taking on Han Yu and Kunlin Wu on this table. On table one, in half an hour, it will be the fillers, Pia and Joshua, taking on Savannah Easton and Jason Shaw. And on table three, Zhang Solnoki taking on the Japanese team, Kawahara and Naoki Oi. While we just watched the players packing up,